Welcome to Season 2 of You and Me Kid, a podcast about starting and raising a family on your own, where I speak with other single moms, those still considering, and experts in relevant fields to give you a real sense of what the day-to-day experience of solo parenting looks and feels like. So wherever you are in the process, I hope this podcast provides some support, helpful info, and most importantly, humor. Thanks so much for listening. Now let's get to it. Welcome to Season 2 of You and Me Kid. Thank you so much for listening. I can't believe we're actually recording a second season, and I'm thrilled to share with you all of the discussions that I had this year. But before we get into those, I wanted to start the season out with just a little update on my own single mom life and how things have been going with my now 20-month-old daughter, Ellie. I can't believe it. It's been almost a year since we published season 1, and it's really hard to summarize all the things that have actually happened in the past year because it does really feel like it has gone at lightning speed. Things have been nonstop since last summer until now, and I am constantly on the move, running after her all around the house. We have long, babbling, hilarious conversations all the time. I spend a lot of time trying not to laugh at her ridiculous shifts in emotions and her strong opinions and her hilarious personality. She is a total character, and we've been having a blast together, and I think really developing a great relationship as mom and now toddler, and have a lot more ways to communicate than we did in the early days. And that is both frustrating as well as really wonderful and allows us to, I think, really understand each other better. So there are, of course, positives and negatives with this new age. And as we're approaching the hopefully not terrible twos, I am still balancing 2 careers as a brand strategist as well as a realtor. And for the most part, that has been going great, thanks to Ellie's incredible daycare that she attends Monday through Friday and really allows me to be a working professional in a way that feels really structured and organized for both of us. But there have certainly been some moments when my responsibility to my clients and my responsibility as a mom have both pulled at me at once, and that has felt really hard. And I'm getting used to that push-pull and how to manage it in a way that feels fair to my work, to my baby, and to my own mental and emotional health. But that's something that I'm constantly thinking about and constantly working on. And we're going to talk a lot about that in this season, especially in episode 11, when I speak to my dear friend, Kara, who is a child and family therapist. And she's going to ask me some tough questions about some of those harder moments. This season, it really felt important to me to dig a bit more into the harder parts of this process and shed some light on not just the snuggly, wonderful, happy moments of motherhood, but also the late nights and the early mornings and the crying and the sickness and the travel delays and what managing those really real experiences has felt like for me. I am also in a whole new stage of parenting with an almost 2-year-old, and with that comes with a lot of new questions for me to ask of other parents and that I ask of the women in this season about older years and how they're facing those challenges as parents and what has worked for them. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. As you know, this season I partnered up with California Cryobank, the #1 sperm bank in the US. California Cryobank ships to over 40 countries and has one of the largest and most diverse selection of donors out there. They are offering my listeners an amazing deal for season 2 that gives you free access to their level 2 subscription, which lets you check out baby and adult photos of the donors. To use this code, visit cryobank.com or click the link in the episode description and use my promo code YouMeKid, YOUMEKID, for a free level 2 subscription to their donor catalog. California Cryobank has helped tens of thousands create the family of their dreams, and hopefully you're next. Now, let's get back to it. In the past year, Ellie and I have also traveled a good bit, both domestically as well as internationally. A few times I have traveled without her on some solo trips. I will say that while uninterrupted sleep is worth every penny of taking a trip and paying a babysitter to be home with her, I really miss her a lot more than I thought after a few days. And so I'm at a stage where 2 nights is kind of the right balance for me to go away from her, get a little rest, be able to spend some really quality time with friends, but also, not miss her too much and be able to come home and hang out. At this point, I'm also really intentionally thinking about trips and adventures and even the small plans that we're making around town and what she and I really need on any given day. And that consideration has become part of my operating system and trying my best to make decisions that fill both of our cups instead of completely depleting us. And sometimes that means going on a taco date together, jumping on the bike, going down the street so I can have a margarita and we, can get out of the house and have a little fun together. Sometimes it means me leaving for a night to spend some time with a good friend and having a really good night of sleep. Or this winter, it meant me getting a sitter 4 Saturdays in a row and budgeting for that so I could ski with one of my best friends and her family. And it was absolutely wonderful. Ellie and I are taking it kind of day by day when it comes to those plans and experimenting with what feels right. And I'm inching closer and closer to the idea of an international trip and thinking about where we might want to go and what doesn't feel totally intimidating for me distance-wise. But I'm waiting for finances to feel a bit more secure to make that decision. While this year I have been very open to dating, I haven't really done much of it. And I'm still just kind of keeping that door ajar for any friends who might know someone who could be a good fit. But I'm not investing a lot of time personally into dating apps or, taking on the frustration that sometimes comes with all of that. So dating is certainly something that I'm still very much interested in, but not investing a lot of effort into. I like to joke a lot that single parenting for me is sponsored by a few key brands and items, and this year is no exception. I would say my second year of momming was made possible by Trader Joe's frozen foods, King's Hawaiian rolls that my daughter is totally obsessed with. We also were sponsored by Sesame Street and this amazing show on Apple called Stillwater about a Zen panda that I'm totally obsessed with and really keeps me sane in the mornings when she gets up early and wants to watch a little TV. And I don't have to listen to someone singing crazy songs with some sort of crazy voice. So thank you, Stillwater, for keeping me sane. This year is also sponsored, as always, by my Nespresso. But recently, this drink called Celsius, which has made a lot of my early mornings after really long nights possible for me to be a working human with a full brain. So thank you to Celsius for my second year of parenting. Overall, it has been an incredible year. I am still completely and totally in love with this decision and being a mom. And I'm really working on balancing the fear as well as my desire to maybe grow my family and wondering what that might look like or if that's something that I'm willing to pursue and what decisions I need to make to maybe think more about it. I hope you enjoy this season. I want to say a huge thank you to the aspiring moms, the single moms, and the experts that took the time yet again to speak with me and share their experiences and insights for this season. I hope you enjoy it, and please continue to reach out with questions and comments or to nominate someone to be on the podcast at youandmekidpod.com. Thank you so much, and please enjoy season 2. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. For more information about the podcast or me, go to youandmekidpod.com. See you soon.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you or your company are looking to jump into the podcast world, now is the time. The Plug Agency is here to connect you to the full power of podcasting. You just record and leave the rest to us. The people are listening and want to hear from you. theplug-agency.com. That's theplug-agency.com. Click the link in the episode description for an exclusive offer.